All right, guys, Shotty T here. It's the last Alliance War of the season. Going into this war, we pretty much knew that we were secure in finishing the season Platinum 4 once again. So this war is going to be a little bit more uh, laxed, to be kind. And also, it's going to be the first war that are going to bring Quake in this season because my entire path has no stubborn opponents, ironically. And the first stubborn opponent is not until the Thing mini, and then of course the boss of Mr. Sasquatch, and there's the one suicide roster there. Continue to scout those ahead of time. So we're gonna bring an all green team just for kicks, and they have their purpose. So gonna bring Quake, and we already got Torch there, and we're gonna bring Void. So green with MV. So the very first fight here, we did mismatch some paths in in our section for tier one, just for compatibility purposes. So I'm taking on Silver Surfer. This is a pretty straightforward fight. Basically, it's aggression fury. So and also strike backs. Obviously, you have to make sure you don't throw a special when he's over 2 bars of power or close to 2 bars of power. Otherwise, you get messed up. And even with Silver Surfer, you really don't want to throw. You also don't want to really throw a special when he's close to SB1. His SB2 is tricky to evade completely. His SB1 is much easier. Just one quick swipe back. Here you go. So now, of course, the strike back note when fighting with Void, the opponent won't really gain the power as much if they have the Petrify debuff on them, which they do now. As you can see, he did not gain a full bar of power when I did that. So I decided to use that to my advantage. And I could have punished that SB1, but I didn't. And also he has all these Furies packed up, so that's why that block penetration was it hurt pretty much. But he's gonna die right there. All right, so next fight we got Mysterio. So this is gonna be our first of 4 Quake fights in a row. So this one is gonna have a little bit of commentary. So some of you guys are just catching up to my war videos. When we did the Flow Global, I brought Quake quite a bit. So there's some videos in the archives you want to check out the Quake play. But the key to Quake and Shake to not get hit, and not like Quake and parry, is identify the combo enders. Opponents they're gonna end their combos either with a second medium or a fourth light attack. That's always going to be the case unless they're interrupted mid combo, like when your aftershock charge wear off. Then they make throw like a random one hit combo. But really, it's just to finish off the combo that they started. So, but yeah. So really, what you would do, and actually this next fight that I'm about to fight, I don't think it is a Quake fight. Or it might be. Yeah, it is a Quake fight. So basically, I'm just going to commentate over all this because you're just going to see the same thing. So Kingpin, and again, it helps when you duel champs. You can either duel them just by typing in their name. Obviously, you get 5 free duels a day. There are several quests that got some of these opponents, so you can like, instead of using a 5-star Quake to fight them, which will make the fight super quick, you can duel them with a 3-star Quake, just to simulate the same degree of difficulty, so you can get used to their animations on what their second medium and what their fourth light attack look like. Or you can just, if you have that champ that you're trying to Quake against, just use that champ and fight as them to see what their second medium and their fourth light attack look like. So there's a lot of things. So That's key for the main reason. Like when you quake, when you hold the heavy, the first attack that comes at you is gonna automatically get evaded. So you don't have to dex backwards on that. But it's the second hit you have to dex. And so the combos that are even combos, that are 2 or 4 hit combos, it's pretty easy. You hold block, hold the charge the heavy. Once they miss, you evade backwards. Dex backwards. Then you charge the heavy again. It'll auto evade, and then the fourth hit, you dex backwards. But when they end with a 3-hit combo, that's probably the one that throws your timing off the most. And like I said, the 3-hit combos, they're gonna always end with a second medium because of obviously a fourth light attack it can't be a 3-hit combo there. So so you really have to identify it. And of course the 5-hit combo, a lot of times when you dex the fourth hit, the fifth hit automatically gets dex, but you just have to be ready to reset your charge. So that's the only thing when you're resetting after a 5-hit combo versus a 4-hit combo. But anyway, this next fight here is going to be a Modok. He's stubborn. Now I kind of overdid it here because I was really using his SP1 to kind of fuel my Nova Flame, but I kind of taking a lot of block damage here. So I probably could have just stopped it right there. The 17 smolders is more than enough, really. Kind of overdid it. But hey, like I said, we already got P4 locked, so hey, I'm just getting through these fights just to get through them at this point, but still making sure we provide useful video footage. All right, so somebody else took Domino, so we got Punisher 99. So I probably brought Quake more than anything for this particular fight because obviously this is kinetic transfer. So you don't have to deal with blocking his SP1 and SP2, chipping away at that power, and then basically doing another SP1, SP2, and then you got Footloose. So it's just too much. Now, yeah, Power Control Champ can help on this node as well, but Quake is Power Control because you don't give the opponent any power unless you Quake and parry. So that's the key. So if you're able to Quake and shake instead of Quake and parry, you can successfully fight this node. Because the one thing that this node has is force of will. So the concussion, you can't apply that. So the only debuff you're applying is stun, and the aftershock charges is what's dealing the big damage still. But you can still evade. So even though there's no concussion, you charge the heavy, she'll still evade that first attack. And this is basically a free heal node at crumbling armor because of the force of will. It's actually prompting for me. So willpower will heal me back to 100%. So this fight's gonna be, like I said, the Mysterio, the Kingpin, and this fight is gonna be the shorter Quake fights. But these next 2 Quake fights are gonna be absolute marathons. The first one is gonna be Terrorize. I think both of these next 2 champ has high physical resistance, so it doesn't help because Quake's aftershock charges, they're physical attacks. So, and then you got 60% damage reduction, so really, yeah, these are gonna be marathon fights. I do boost a little bit. I try to intercept, but here you go. That fight's painfully over. If you thought that fight was long, just check out this next one. I nearly time out. Because I tried to do intercepts to make those aftershock charges deal more damage with the passive fury, but it's just that when the fury resets, the protection pops up right as the aftershock charge expires. So I kept doing that this fight because I knew of the heightened physical resistance, but check out the footage. Now that's what you call a dramatic finish. I mean, I know you guys saw in that previous war video with Sorcerer Supreme versus Havoc. I mean, yeah, like I said, I was trying to intercept to get rid of the protection, but it just wasn't working out as much as I wanted. Then I got careless one too many times of evading that SP2. I got clipped with that rock, so it nearly died. I don't think I died with Quake in a war in quite some time. I think the last time I did was when my fingers got tired against a Korg, and that's when we was in that old war format. But yeah. Now we got Human Torch against Storm Pyramid X. All of her attacks are energy based, so it's basically gonna fuel his smolder charges. And we got pre-fight active here, so that way we don't have to worry about the incinerate and making the power gain more extravagant here. And even though there's protection, I mean the Nova Flame is so potent, don't even have to intercept. I mean, it's nice to do, but it's not necessary. And again, I could have punched that SB1 there, but we're trying to actually heal with willpower. I do have a couple more fights with Torch, so might as well use this fight as a free healing opportunity with the crumbling armor. So we're just a stall tactic right now. That's all we're doing. This fight is definitely not in jeopardy of timing out like the previous two fights. I mean, Terrax wasn't too bad, but it's just still, I mean, it is a tedious Quake fight. Like I said, there are other people I could have brought overall, but that Punisher 99 really is what's brought me to bring Quake to begin with. And obviously didn't want to use Torch against Terrax or what's his name, Red Hulk, because they would have applied a bunch of debuffs. Well, obviously Torch wouldn't, but Torch is, I guess he probably could have been effective against Red Hulk. Just the fight would have been slightly quicker, just with the basic attacks. So, and just intercepting. So possibly could have did that, but it is what it is. It's over now. So now we actually do get an intercept there. We charge it up. Yeah. Watch her melt. Tried to finish in style, but the power sting actually gets her there. All right, so this is gonna be the last Quake fight against Mojo. I think we apply a couple of potions there. Probably could have used Torch, but the thing about Mojo, he has a tricky RNG. Depending on which RNG you get, you may actually prop up his hater buff. And obviously if you get 5 of them, then you're gonna have some massive regeneration. Now I was actually playing with fire by doing it 35%. Obviously some opponents, if they have assassins, once your health gets below 18%, you're subject to ability accuracy reduction from that mastery. And of course, when you duel opponents, you don't know whether or not they have assassins set up or not. So you just prefer not to chance it by going into a fight already low. And as you can see, he already has 5 hater buffs, and that's why he's gained so much power. But luckily, the next prompt that he had, he did not. It didn't prompt, so it reset it back to 1. But now it's back to 2 once again. That's part of the reason why I boosted. I just wanted to get this fight over with quickly. So now he's going to dash back, and now he actually has a bar of power. And now I triggered the hater buff. Now the fight's getting dicey. We're in that right on the outside of that assassin's range. If I was at 18%, this fight would have been difficult to finish. So basically, I can't take another hit because I don't want to risk the assassins. And we were done with that fight. So that was very dicey. So once again, you've seen this fight many times. Torch versus Thing. I said it's the down pat. Ever since that epic failure I had a while back where I had that random parry when I was charging the Harry. I guess they had to resist. I guess they had that resist mastery pretty high. So if you perfect block a heavy attack, it counts as a parry apparently. So, but anyway, this fight, like I said, I'm so used to it. Just managing the rock stacks. So now we just need him to throw a special. There we go. All right, so I'm ignoring the stubborn aspect. I'm focusing on the main objective of this node. It's to incinerate the opponent. Like I said, the other stuff is secondary. All right, making sure he's holding his block so I can get into it there. It's probably the most, I guess, the dramatic point of the fight there. Trigger stubborn, but once again, we just want to make sure that we keep that incinerate active. And I did a parry right as that parry stun timer reset, so I kind of got punished there, but it didn't kill us. We had enough health to withstand a combo. Now we're in assassins. And there we go. So, like I said, this war, as I prefaced at the beginning, we had already resigned our fate to be P4. I think this is going to be the only BG that actually clears. And I said, why not? We're not going to boost. We're going to try Void against Sasquatch. Because he actually works when he gets down to where every hit has a chance to have him regenerate missing health. And as you guys saw in that magic fight, it ended up costing me basically a timeout KO. So really, Void, there's a couple things you got to worry about here. The Wrath of Tamarack is probably the main thing, because when in that phase, he becomes more aggressive. All heavy attacks and specials have an element of unstoppable, so you can't really punish it. You have to have, like, I guess, excellent timing, and it's just too risky to do in a war. So obviously you want to try to keep yourself out of the corner, ideally, and bait the SP2s if you can. The SP1s, they're hard to punish. I think I failed at doing that at some point in this fight where I tried to punish the SP1, but it didn't work. So when the Wrath of Tamarack active, it's good to know that you can actually dash back, intercept, because the opponent is so aggressive, and also you can do standing intercepts as well. But now he has the Wrath active, so as you see, I got a nice intercept right there, because he was pretty much coming at you, and I could have got an intercept right there if I was really confident in my abilities. I would have got another intercept there. But as you can see, now I'm cornered, so that's the purpose of me trying to gain myself space early on, because of that Wrath of Tamarack I have to worry about. So now we're just gonna hit into the block, just gain some, just a little space, Don't want to hit them to 3 bars, obviously. I think one more I can afford. There we go. Take off stubborn now. Don't want to take block into that second part of SP1, because if you block that, there's a chance you can get stunned into oblivion. So you have to be careful there. And like you see, I tried to punish the SP1, but I was late. And then I throw an SP2 out of desperation, knowing he's going to be aggressive. Now at this point, we're just trying to take as much health as we can, because it's almost like inevitable we're going to die now. But we actually hang up in there. We hang in there pretty well. I mean, I was actually impressed with my wall play there. Usually I don't like playing against the wall unless I have Quake. But that's a tactic that I learned watching that Summoner Showdown, though. Dash back and counter with a light attack when you're in the corner. And getting some nice clutch intercepts. So now we've taken 50% of his health. There's an outside chance we can still pull this off, but it's just the block damage not going to have enough. I'm going to have to do some blocking to get rid of stubborn if I'm not doing enough shallow evades. We're making it happen. There's still a chance. There's still a chance that I can pull it off. But he actually backwards intercepts me. I'm dashing back and he just pounces on me. So no telling how much further I could have taken that, but he died. So I'm gonna finish him off with Torch. Maybe I could have used Torch this the whole time, but wanted to try Void. Like I said, the war is way past lost. First time we faced the Sasquatch boss, I want to see how Void would do. Void can work. You just have to be on your intercept game and not get cornered. So, and there's some other, I'm pretty sure there's some other options too. Obviously, Warlock. But then again, those debuffs with those buffs that he has, that energy and physical resistance will diminish the length of time for the infection. So really, Torch should be a good option here, especially with pre-fight. So that'll be something I can think about next time. And you see I got a little nice intercept there. Another nice intercept. Perfectly block those 2 hits. So I don't worry about the stubborn. Almost got this one done. And trigger stubborn once again. And I died. But yeah. That's going to do it there. Quake's going to finish him off with a couple of hits there. It wasn't easy, though, because of that regeneration at the end. But like I said, we're just doing this for giggles at this point. But that's the war. That's the season. Be on the lookout for several videos here. We're going to get some videos in tomorrow and over the weekend. But hope you guys enjoy, like, and subscribe.